Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my live stream. How is everybody doing out there? I'm sure it's going to take people a couple of minutes to filter on in and all that good fun jazz, but yeah, sorry I'm running a little late. Um, well, had some technical issues. It's been a while since I've done a live stream on here, and it took me a while to figure out basically how I did it in the past. And also, I realized I couldn't use my normal method that I used to live stream on Twitch because Streamlabs OBS charges if you want to stream to more than one place, and I can't afford that. So yeah. Anywho, just wanted to say thank you guys so much for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. I'm finally monetized. It's not making a ton of money yet, but we're on the right track, and I'm finally able to start making some money. And I don't have to meet any arbitrary, goals of 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. Don't have to worry about that anymore. I just have to worry about making content and hoping that you guys like it and watch the videos and ads and all that good fun stuff. And yeah, so this live stream, basically what it is a Q&A. It's a chance for you guys to talk to me. Have any questions about Dungeons and Dragons, I can answer them for you. We can just talk about various different things in Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, that's basically what this is. So, once you guys start filing in, which hopefully will be soon, and hopefully my audio and all that works. I don't have a great way of testing that, but I think I picked my right mic. Hopefully that's plugged in. Yeah, it looks like it is. That was probably some loud noise for you. Sorry about that. Yeah, just if you guys have any questions on some D&D 3.5 stuff, then yeah, I would be happy to help you answer any questions or whatever. So yeah, um, what do I got to say on that? um, so D&D 3.5, it's my thing. It's something I've been doing for a long time. I've started. I think I started playing back in 2009, and I started this channel in 2014, I want to say, something like that. I can't remember exactly, maybe late 2013, because I just thought, hey, one day I was just like, you know what, maybe it would be cool if I went in and made some videos on Dungeons and Dragons 3.5. Like, let's just go over the classes. So I'm like, all right, let's start with the fighter. Let's make a video where I talk about the fighter. And, I didn't know what I was doing back then. So those videos are kind of scuffed, but they are what they are. And, I do plan on remaking those original ones at some point once I really finish polishing my style, because I've come a long way, but I still don't think I'm quite where I need to be. And I actually do see ways that I can improve. So once I get there, I'll remake those videos, because if I'm going to remake them, I wanted to remake them right, which is why I haven't remade them yet. So yeah, but that's how it got started. Was I figured I'd make, and honestly, it wasn't even a 3.5 channel exclusively back then. It was, just any nerdy stuff that I happened to be into. But I did have a focus on 3.5 even from the beginning. That was always like the primary thing, and that's what got the views. That's what took off. And over the years, I've just kind of been shifting gears and making it really all about 3.5. And I've kind of got rid of all the other stuff. So yeah, if you guys got any questions about Dungeons and Dragons 3.5, feel free to let me know in chat. I am more than happy to talk with all you guys and learn about, we can discuss the game. I'll be live for another 2 hours. This will be a 2-hour live stream. This is the first of 7 live streams that I'll be doing for 1,000 subscribers. I'll be doing more when I hit 2,000 subscribers, which hopefully will be soon. You never know. We've been growing at a pretty decent rate, so it could be not that long before we hit that, which would be really cool. So yeah. You guys got any questions about Dungeons and Dragons 3.5, I am more than happy to discuss really anything. Probably should have prepared a little bit better with some books, but I got a couple nearby. Let me grab a couple and we can just go over some stuff. Grab that. Hopefully my audio is working. I honestly don't have a way to test it, and there's nobody in chat at the moment to let me know, which, it is what it is. I'm still pretty small time, and yeah, I don't expect people to be hopping in the instant I go on go live. You got to be pretty big for that kind of stuff. And it makes sense. People got lives. They're not gonna. Most people aren't going to be ready. Even like the big streamers, like most their following takes a while. They just have so many that a few of them are able to hop in right away. But anywho, yeah. So some of the videos I've done recently, like the Druid being OP, like, man, it really kind of is. Like, if you look at this thing, I mean, it has an average base attack bonus, which is decent enough, but I mean, full spell casting, that's really where it shines more than anything. And it also has wild shape, which just gives it so many buffs. Like, it's really just the best. There's really nothing that can compete with the Druid. Like, I've heard people in the comments talk about like the Cleric, which, okay, with a lot of later editions from books, using domains and being able to change them out, and then also being able to use your turn undead for other effects. Yeah, the Cleric can be pretty dang good, but you need a lot of supplemental material to make that work. Whereas the Druid is pretty good with just core. You really don't need any supplemental material to make it good. Yeah, but the Cleric you do. So that's a thing. Which is another one. And then some people have talked about like the Wizard. And, the Wizard is a pretty solid one. And it does have, I think, better casting than the Druid. But at the same time, like, it's just not the same. Like, the Wizard doesn't have the better base attack bonus. It doesn't have the D8 hit dice. It only has a D4. It's got a lot of drawbacks. It's just a lot more frail. It's not going to be able to hit as often with spells that require touch attacks or just any sort of attacks, which a decent number of spells do require attack rolls. And the ones that do are often better because they're the ones that don't have saves. So that's kind of nice, but I don't know. So the Druid's just not, or the Wizard's just not as good. The Druid just has them beat. Plus, they have wild shape, which gives them all sorts of other options. And yeah, the Druid's it's just ridiculous. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, feel free to let me know. I am more than happy to answer anything. Like, this stream is for you guys. It's for me to field questions, to talk to you guys, for you guys to have a chance to talk with me one-on-one. That's really what this is. So yeah. And another video that I made recently that did pretty well, the monk, the one about the monk sucking. That one hurt. That one really hurt to make because I love the monk so much. I really do. It's one of my favorite classes. It's so good. Well, it feels so good, but it's sadly just not. I mean, the monk, it's a good class. Well, it's not, but I love it. It was just so painful to make that video. But I had to because, the monk it's unfortunately just not as good as it could be, which I wish was better. Oh, we got someone in chat. Love your videos. Thank you for your information. It's been super helpful understanding my characters in 3.5. That's awesome. Skazaro? Skazor. I think that's it. Took me a couple tries to, I think, get it right. I don't even know, but yeah. Skaz, nice. Well, welcome in, Skaz. This is a Q&A. It's just sort of a live stream. It's a thank you. Basically, this live stream is a thank you to you, the viewers, for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. Like, that's been a goal of mine for a long time, and it's only thanks to you guys that I was able to pull it off. So yeah, this is my way of thanking you is by doing 7 2-hour live streams over the next like 2 months. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions. And yeah, we'll probably get some more people trickling in. I've only been live for about 10 minutes. So I imagine we're going to get a few more. Congrats on the achievement. Happy New Year's. Yeah. Happy New Year's to you as well, Skaz. And I appreciate that. Like, I literally couldn't have done it without you. Like, I mean, you need support. Like, you can make as good of videos as you want. If nobody likes them, then you're not going to go anywhere. So, without people supporting, I couldn't be where I'm at. So, I appreciate it. And yeah, that's, I really do. So yeah, if you got any questions, you just want to chat about D&D, like that's what this is about, is me answering questions and just chatting about D&D, and just your guys' chance to, talk with me one on one for a few hours. So, or I guess maybe not one on one, like I don't know, however many people are in here right now. I guess it's just potentially one on one. No one else has chatted yet, so. But yeah, it's for you guys to have a chance to chat with me, like directly live, somewhat one on one, because I doubt we're going to get more than at most a couple dozen people in here. So yeah, it should be fairly personalized. At least I don't expect it to get too crazy. So I did one of these. Well, I did some of these for 500 and then 200 and 100, and so, I've seen that pick up at 500. I was getting maybe 5, 6 people, which was impressive. That was way more than I was getting at 200. So, I don't expect it to be too crazy. I should be pretty manageable. So, yeah, this is your guys' chance to ask any questions. While I was waiting for people to file in, I was just kind of talking about where this channel's been, and, you know, some of the recent videos I did, like the Druid and the Monk, talking about them a little bit, because they're the best and the worst in the player's handbook. Like the Druid is like the best class in the player's handbook, and the Monk's the worst. And I hate saying that. Monk's one of my favorites, but it's unfortunately not that good. It underperforms. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to help you with understanding your characters. So like that actually does mean a lot to me. Like to see the comments and to see like that people are being helped by my videos. Like that does mean a lot. It's like, hey, I'm actually doing something. Like, my videos are helpful to people. I'm bringing value. Like that. That's meaningful to me. So I'm glad that I was able to do that for you. Yeah, if you have any questions about the game, feel free to ask. Now's the perfect time to do so. Um, yeah. And I will be doing another one of these in a week, and then another one a week after that, and so on and so forth for, the foreseeable future. Well, not the foreseeable future. It's going to be like mid-February. Yeah, I have a video about that, my 1,000 subscriber thank you video. So yeah. Let's see. What? ah, but yeah, the Monk. I like it. It's got a lot of really cool stuff, but unfortunately, it's the fact that it doesn't have the good base attack bonus like the fighter. That holds it back a lot since it's primarily a melee fighter, which is a big deal to not have a full base attack bonus with that. The D8 hit dice isn't terrible, but it could definitely be better. It's a little bit on the frail side. Can't wear armor. It gets a lot of things that buff its armor. Well, it has its AC bonus, so it adds wisdom plus a bit to its AC, but it's just not enough to make up for not being able to wear armor. It really isn't. So there's that. Not wearing armor does allow you to get your full dex, but still, I don't know. It's kind of it's a whole thing with a Monk. But they get a lot of cool stuff, but unfortunately, they just don't live up to expectations in a lot of ways. Let's see. What else? I'm curious what kind of videos other people would like to see, because that would be That is something I'm thinking of doing with the channel, is trying to branch out a little bit. I mean, I'm going to stick with 3.5, but I am thinking of, trying to maybe do some other things with 3.5. Be fairly like my channel's fairly broad in the extremely small niche of D&D 3.5, but there's a lot to cover in 3.5. It's a very big subject. It's just, a fairly niche topic at this point. I mean, it's 2022, so almost 2023. Like, for me, it's still 2022. I got another 11 hours before it's 2023. Some of you guys, depending on where you're at in the world, maybe it is 2023 for you. Time zones and all that. But yeah, going forward into 2023 and beyond, I am thinking of, adding some more D&D 3.5 stuff. Like, I've been thinking of trying to include some stuff on feats, but feats are a tricky one because as important as they are to the game, and like is how they're one of the most crucial things to character creation. Like, when I get a new book, one of the first things I usually do is I'll go to the feats section and look to see if there's any cool new feats. That's one of the first things I'll do when I get a new book. But unfortunately, feats just are a weird amount of importance in terms of like making videos, because like a class or a race or a prestige class, that's got a fair amount of content to it. They have various different class features at various different levels. They get various base attack. Sorry, I've got the bad case of the hiccups. They get various base attack bonuses. They get various saves. They get all sorts of stuff. So, there's all sorts of crazy stuff to cover. Some of them more than others. Some of them it's like the fighter, okay, cool. You get a feat every other level and +1 at first. Cool. And a base attack bonus, crappy skills. It is what it is. But then you get other ones where there's just so much material to cover, or it's just so different than everything else that like you pretty much need to explain this whole new mechanic in order to explain the class. So that's a whole thing. But with feats, there's just not that much to cover. So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking of maybe covering some feat videos in the future. You guys, I am curious to what you to know what you guys want to see. So that's just something going forward that I don't know. I'm looking into new things to cover. If anybody has any ideas, feel free to let me know. Yeah, and if anybody wants to say anything in chat, like seriously, this stream is for you guys. This is for you guys to talk to me and ask me questions and all that fun stuff. Like, that's the whole point of these streams. So yeah, just let me know. But yeah, feats, like, they're so important. But I mean, even something that's like a really good feat, like congrats on 1K. Oh, appreciate that, Orpheus. And welcome back. I think you were in the last stream, weren't you? I seem to recall that name. But yeah, feats, there's just not a lot to cover in them. I don't know if I was going to do feat videos, I feel like I'd either have to do like shorts, which might be a good idea, or to do like multiple feats in the same video. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, welcome in, Orpheus. If you got any questions or anything you want to go over, it's open forum. So if you got anything on 3.5, I think I commented on several videos, but I'm not sure I've been to any of the live streams. Got it. That might be why the name sounds familiar. But yeah, welcome in. Glad you could make the stream. Yeah, the last one was 500 subs, so hard to say. But yeah, I do these live streams every time I hit a new milestone. So yeah, it's just my way of thanking the community for helping me get to where I am. Is give you guys a chance to just talk to me, hang out, and ask questions about 3.5. So yeah, go over. Talk to me about anything, you want to know about the channel or the game or, whatever. So yeah, that's really what this is. It's just sort of a live Q&A, open forum, all that fun, good stuff. But yeah, now that I think about it, doing shorts on feats might be a good idea because there's not a lot to cover on them. It wouldn't be a super long video, but at the same time, yeah, short form content's kind of a thing now. So, and feats are super, super important. It's Like literally one of the first things I go to when I look at a new book is like, ooh, let's check out what new feats there are. I mean, at this point, there's not new books, but when I get one that's new to me, I'll look at them and see what's out there. Try and theory craft some stuff. That's just how my brain works. Um, yeah, and some feats are definitely better than others. And some are weird, like oh, what is it? The uh, improved initiative. That's a weird one. I talked about that in my feats video, but they have that meme of the big brain, medium brain, small brain. Improved initiative really falls on that one because you see like the small brain guys go, improved initiative. It's not that good. Um, or improved initiative. It's what is it? It's not good because it gives a flat bonus. And then like the medium brain people being like, no, it's actually good because it lets you go ahead and it lets you go earlier. And when you're having high action economy, then action economy is king, and going first makes a big deal. But then like you have the like high brain people be like, actually it is just a flat bonus, and the bonuses you get are just so high that honestly it's not going to make that much of a difference. And there's way better things you could do with a feat. So that one's a weird one. Daniel Bean, me and my coworker started a D&D group and decided to start with 3.5. Nice. Good choice. 3.5's the best. You've been an invaluable resource for me. Oh, I appreciate that. As I've crafted my Dread Necromancer. Nice. That's a really fun class. I do like the Dread Necromancer. I only discovered it somewhat recently. I guess it was like 3-4 years ago, but it's a pretty fun one. It's really, really good one. It's one of the very few arcane classes that gets the full casting. It's one of like 4. So that's really cool. And it just gets all sorts of really cool features. And yeah, it's really good if you want to be a necromancer. Like, yeah, for if you want to make an arcane necromancer, dread necromancer is really the only way to go. Anything else is just suboptimal. Like, yeah, dread necromancer is amazing. And yeah, you can do all sorts of cool prestige classes with it. I've done a lot of stuff with that one recently, especially with builds. So I can see why that could be helpful. I've been focusing pretty heavy on the necromancy area recently due to some stuff going on in my own campaign. So yeah, glad I was able to help you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Like that's the whole point of me being here is to, be here for you to ask any questions and, just chat about the game or whatever. So yeah. One of my group's biggest issues with getting into 3.5 is the general crafting system and the DM managing time between sessions. He has us going through periods of like 4 days over 4 weeks or so. Yeah, I can see that. The crafting system's pretty slow in 3.5. It's something I actually got a really good feel for due to some characters that I made. But yeah, the crafting system is very tedious and it's a very complicated process. I did make a video on that one. But yeah, crafting's a fun one. And it takes a lot of time, which can be difficult if you don't have a lot of downtime to work with. So yeah, that one's an issue. I literally had a character spend an entire year crafting. That was fun. Um, let's see. Orpheus Kingdoms of Kamala Villain Handbook has the initiative spell uh, double checked if it's official content. Basically, for a certain amount of rounds per turn, you will be counted as the highest initiative. Ooh, that's kind of nice. So if you were allowed to use that spell, I can see why a DM would ban it. Improved initiative is a bad choice. Yeah, I can see why a DM might ban it, but I mean, it doesn't change things too much. It just moves you up the initiative order for a few turns, which is really nice. But I don't see that as particularly broken, especially seeing as unless it's an immediate action that you can do at the start of combat. You'd have to wait till your initiative anyway. So the people who got the high initiative would still, get those rounds of surprise actually, because if you haven't acted yet, then you're considered flat-footed. So yeah, they would be able to act before you still, and you'd still be flat-footed for all that. So it's not really super broken, but it is good. And yeah, improved initiative. It seems good. It seems bad at first. Then once you get into it, it starts to seem good, but then you realize it actually is bad. Like it's good at like this weird like mid-level play section where you're not doing too crazy optimized stuff, but you're still doing a decent amount of optimized stuff. Yeah, it's good at like this weird mid optimization level, but that's about it. So yeah. Um yeah. Yeah, but initiative is like super important. But yeah, jumping up the initiative, super, super good. I know one of the most useful things I've seen was, White Raven Tactics. That was such a good maneuver that came out of Tome of Battle. That is so, so useful because you can effectively give up half your turn to basically give a second turn to to another ally that happens to be acting high in the initiative just before you. So you can be like, all right, I'll give up half my turn to let another caster who's really good at resource management and has like a ton of actions they can do, let them get another turn. I had players use that very, very effectively. One of my players did that constantly to give like another player who was a caster a whole basically an extra turn. And yeah, they really abused the heck out of that, and he's doing it like every other turn. So yeah, he would like they were just had super high initiatives to the point where they could just kind of delay after each other forever. And I mean, I guess you don't even need super high; you just need to be at the top. But yeah, they just kind of like switch places at the top of the initiative constantly, and White Raven tactics to give the caster two turns every other turn at the expense of the other guy's half a turn every other turn. It was, yeah, you can get some really broken stuff with action economy. Action economy is king. Like maximizing that is really the way to get powerful, more than anything else by a large margin. Yeah. Um, but yeah, I can see why that would be banned, that spell. But I don't know. I don't think it's that broken. It seems reasonable, since I don't know. It doesn't give you extra turns. It just moves your turn up like for a while, which is useful. But being at the top of the initiative doesn't like where you're at in the initiative order doesn't really matter so much after the first turn. It's more about the flow of initiatives than anything else. And I guess changing the flow could be, a big deal. But I don't know. It seems balanced enough. Woo, congrats on reaching 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate that, Donovan. That really means a lot, man. Yeah, I really do appreciate that. Thank you so much, and thank everybody. Like, thank all of you for helping me get to 1,000 subscribers. I literally could not have done that without you. So yeah, this video or this live stream, and the 6 others that I'm going to be doing, they're all a thank you to you guys for helping me get to this goal. So yeah, I'll be doing this for another about hour and a half, and I'll be doing 6 more 2-hour live streams over the course of the next 2 months or so. So yeah, if you guys got any questions about D&D, any comments, questions about the channel, whatever you got, like feel free to shoot them in the chat, and I'll read that, and yeah, we can discuss. That's the whole point of this, is just for you guys to have a chance to hang out. Yeah, to see where things go. And I even sort of came up with an idea while doing this. I think I might be doing some more shorts on feats. That could be a cool thing to do. Might be a thing I do in the future, where I go over feats in a bunch of YouTube shorts. I don't know. Might be fun. Um, Little vertical video stuff that I can shoot on my phone real fast, and yeah, might be nice. If that's something you guys want to see, let me know, and I'll probably start doing that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe try and cover every single feat in the game. That'll be a lot of content. There's a lot of feats out there. Some way better than others. like skill focus. That's not a good one. Uh, I don't know what to call it, but I had a lot of issues finding the relevant materials that span the millions of books and resources that are relevant to specific archetypes in 3.5. Like the, it looks like you got more on that. Yeah, it can be hard to find stuff. Google can be helpful, but even with Google, it can be difficult to find what you're looking for, like because you don't know what to search. And yeah, there's a lot of forums out there, and it can be difficult to dig through them. The forums are a great resource, and the fact that it's 2022 makes it even better because, you know, back in 2012 or whatever, it was like okay, it was a good resource, and a lot of things were out there, but there's a lot of things that weren't yet. Whereas, here in 2022, like most questions that you might have that you might ask have been answered. Like they've been asked already and someone answered them. So they can be very, very useful. Um, yeah, most things have come up in somebody's game at some point at this point for the, last 10 years. Dread Necromancer, for example, has maybe five required books to play the way what you would like to imagine. Yeah, so Dread Necromancer, that's what Heroes of Horror, which is great book. But like really good book. It introduces so many good things. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna want the player's handbook, obviously, but complete arcane could be good to get more spells and maybe some good options to prestige class into. Um, Another good one, just the what is it? The spell compendium. Between the spell compendium and the player's handbook, you're going to have access to pretty much every spell that you're going to want. So that's definitely useful. Another thing with Dread Necromancer is it does get access to Rebuke Undead. So you can use stuff in Complete Divine for Divine Meta Magic. Well, actually, you can't use Divine Meta Magic. But there's other things that you can trade for Turn Undead or Rebuke Undead. I forget which books those are in, but yeah, there are a lot of books that you need for that. Any encounter ideas with Green Hags? Ooh, I don't think I've ever used a Green Hag. I've been a little bit limited in the monsters I've used, to be honest. So I can't really think of any. I'm not that familiar with the Green Hag, to be honest. But I don't know. That could be interesting. I really need to expand my horizons on monsters. To be honest, I reuse the same few dozen a lot. I mean, it's a few dozen, so it's not super obvious to my players, but to me, it kind of is because there's a lot that I just don't know. Um, I'm loving the concept of using the Book of Vile Deeds, dark religious rituals. Ooh, yeah, the Book of Vile Deeds is really nice. I love that book. I mean, you got to be evil to use it, basically, but at the same time, there's a lot of really good stuff. I can see it fitting well with the Dread Necromancer. Yeah, there could be some cool stuff. Um, it's technically a 3.0 book, but it's a weird one because it has 3.5 books that directly reference it in the two Fiendish Codexes, and the Book of Exalted Deeds is 3.5 and is its counterpart. So Vile Darkness is a weird one because it is 3.0, but it's super late 3.0 and it's practically 3.5. It's weird. But yeah, it's a great book. I love it. Bonus creature template is great for Dread Necromancer creations. Yeah, bonus creature template. You can make some really cool stuff by adding creature templates to things. So you can get really creative. And that's one of the things I love about 3.5 is you just how creative you can get with things. It doesn't really limit you much at all. I mean, it does, but because I mean, you can't just do whatever you want. But at the same time, like there are so many different options that there's all for basically countless ways to combine them, like more than anyone could ever come up with, which is amazing. Like that's one of the fun things about it. Um, let's see. Greenhag encounter in Baldur's Gate 3 is very good. I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3. I played, I think it was one, maybe two, way back in the day on my friend's computer, but I never had it myself. And my friend never really let me get too far in the game. So yeah, because it's a one player game, and I don't know. I just wasn't ever able to go over to his place and play it. It's a whole thing, but yeah, I don't know. I loved Baldur's Gate. It was such a fun game, but I've never been able to. I've never had it, so maybe that's one I should start to play. Um, let's see. Cancer Mage is crazy. Ooh, I remember seeing that. I don't remember looking into it, but that one did look in. That does ring a bell. I know that's from Vile Darkness. So yeah, there's so many of them. I don't have all of them memorized off the top of my head. I know it might seem like it with the way I do videos, but it's more I spend like, half an hour to an hour researching the class beforehand, and then, just using my knowledge of how things work with other things to figure out how to make it work, and, bounce some ideas off some friends and stuff. So, but yeah, I am not an expert on most of them. I just make myself an expert on a particular class or prestige class right before I make the video. So, and then, retain it for a while, but I tend to forget it after a little bit. And I haven't made Cancer Mage yet, so there's that. Um, I made a ton of. Oh yeah, also welcome in Snagwolf. Daniel Bean. I made a ton of orcs sacrifice their week to take on an undead dragon in the name of my god. Not to sacrifice their week. Got it. To take on an undead dragon in their name. Nice. That's actually kind of cool. Sacrificing their own, especially with orcs. I've done some fun stuff with that. I haven't done that, but I did kamikaze ones. I had like trolls throwing orcs, and that was fun to do once. I have some plans to do some crazy stuff with orcs, like sacrificing themselves. Orcs are very much glass cannons at low levels. Like they're just weak at anything other than low levels. But at like for level 1 to level 3 characters, they're glass cannons. Like they're very strong enemies, but they die in like one hit. But they'll like one shot you as well at low level. So orcs are a fun one. Unlike the lizard folk, which is the opposite. Those things don't do crap for damage, but they're tough to kill. Thanks, Daniel. I'll try and look it up. Appreciate everyone helping out each other. Donovan, awesome timing then. Me and my friends are starting back up after New Year's. Nice. Congrats on that. So I'm going to be rewatching a lot of your older videos. I appreciate that. Especially now that I'm monetized. So, I'll be making a couple cents off that. So sweet. I'm in with them. Nice. That's awesome, Donovan. I really appreciate that. Cancer Mage turns into a disease at level 10. Nice. That's actually really cool. Yeah, like there's so many good classes out there. And that's one of the things I love about this game is like there's so many different ways to make interesting and cool builds that do something that's unique in a cool way. Like some of them are executed way better than others. Like some of them it's like, okay, that was a cool idea you had, but this class kind of sucks. But other ones it's like, okay, that's cool and it was done pretty well. You can make it work. And others it's like, wow, this is just so OP. It just breaks the game, and like everyone's gonna do it, even if they don't care about the theme, because it's just so good. Like there's definitely some of those. Unseen Seer, for example. Like most of the people who play Unseen Seer aren't really in it for the reasons that the developers intended. They're not in it, for the for the divination stuff. They're in it more for a lot of other reasons. Like it's a really good Gish class. So yeah. Or what is it? Rogue? Yeah, I think it's the Rogue Gish. So very, very good. But yeah, most people aren't in it for the reasons the devs intended, because they made it too good. So sometimes that happens as well. But it is what it is. And the game, it's a very fun for that. because there's just so many different things out there. Although there's definitely some that get overused a lot. Like there are way too many. There are a surprising number of barbarians that take the totem, that take lion totem. Like if you look at it from like from a lore perspective, it's like, wow, why are all these players going lion totem barbarian for a one level dip? Like that's weird. But I mean, obviously it's because they get pounce, and pounce is super good for a one level dip. Like, but yeah, way too. There's way too many things that are, the devs didn't really think through all the way to made things really broken. Dude, congrats on getting monetized. Appreciate that, Donovan. Yeah, I mean, the amount of money I'm getting at this point is chump change, but at the same time, like it's literally not even enough to get a payout. But it'll grow, and I'm looking forward to, seeing where this goes. And honestly, I just want to be able to survive off of this. I'm not really looking to like, be like, some rich millionaire making making, millions of dollars and living high on the hog. Like I'm not looking for that. I just want to, be able to do this full time and, survive. So, that's really the main goal. I'm far from it at this point, but that's the goal. And I'm looking forward to it. Um, Her bog is under an illusion spell to make seem like a pleasant and magnificent garden meadow. Ooh, interesting. You enter her home, and the missing girl is there, and she attempts to deceive you to send you away. Interesting. Interesting. That's really cool. That's a really cool idea. Illusions, those can be fun to play with, especially seeing as like it's difficult to be fully immune to illusions. Typically, you're going to fall for an illusion until you interact with it once. So like you're gonna fall for it once, even if you're really like, even if you have really good, skills to avoid it. Like if your perception's really high, or not perception, was it will? Even if you have a really good will save, like you're still going to fall for it once, which is something that's really cool about illusions. They don't do damage, but the fact that most people will fall for them once is very potent. So that's really cool. If you dispel the illusion, it's an instant boss combat. Nice. Although the thing about illusions is they won't be able to know it's an illusion until they interact with it. So until they do something with it that would be different, depending on like whether or not it's an illusion or not. Like it's a bog, but it's a meadow. So if they actually go into the bog, um, whether or not like they feel the water hitting them and that they're getting slowed down and all that, whether or not they sense that, that would be something that would trigger a will save. But yeah, there's various things that would. But yeah, you'd have to physically interact with it, and or I guess not physically, but you'd have to interact with it in some way before you'd even have a chance to try and figure out that it's an illusion. So yeah, and that's for disbelief, or I guess you might have a suspicion. But yeah, that's something that's really cool about illusions. I like illusions are just so fun to play with. Something I don't do near enough as a DM, but something I really should. Mostly because it's really hard to keep track of illusions, especially when you're doing a million things. So yeah, that's that's a whole thing. But yeah, illusions are fun. I do rather enjoy using them, and some of my favorite characters were actually illusionists. The Ningle brothers. I had made a couple of videos on those. Like no one watched them, and I'm not surprised. But yeah, those are some of my favorite characters. Dimble and Dimble and Gimble Ningle, very fun gnomes. One of them was an illusionist, and they just like to mess with people. Illusion's fun. Um, yeah, they controlled the information. So yeah, I don't know. Illusion's just a very fun thing to mess with because it doesn't do anything technically, but being able to influence what other people do is very powerful in its own right, despite the fact that illusion typically doesn't actually do anything. I did, and I made a similar character, but he died. Nice, nice. But yeah, that's one of the cool things about illusion is it technically doesn't do anything, but it makes other people think it does, which changes the way, which changes the information that they have, which makes them act differently, which can be extremely beneficial. So, well, to you, detrimental to them. But yeah, making people act on imperfect or flawed information is very useful. Just make sure you don't get stopped at the gates of our OOD, of our OOD part. Not sure what that is. I certainly had a lot of fun with it, but I failed a pretty important role. Yeah, that can be failing important roles. That's like the worst, but also kind of fun. Flying too close to the sun. Yeah, I've had some situations where, like as a DM, I failed a super important role. I had a situation for my players where I had this whole scene mapped out, and basically there was a save that the caster was going to be the spell was going to caster was going to be casting a spell on the fighter, and he was almost certainly going to fail. And yeah, the fighter actually made the roll, even though he had like a 10% chance of making it. And yeah, that absolutely completely changed the fight because the spell was um, honestly YouTube. I can't say the name of it. It's from the Book of Vile Darkness. It's Mind and Mind R, and yeah, I would say the name, but yeah, TOS and all that fun stuff. But yeah, very fun spell, and he actually made the save. If he hadn't, I would have turned him into an enemy. I would have completely changed all of his memories to say that, okay, you're a bad guy now. You've been working with the bad guys forever, and you're lawful evil. And yeah, that's a fun one. But he made the save, and that's completely changed everything, so that the party didn't have to try and change him around. Didn't have to, fight him and undo the spell and all that. And it just nothing happened. So yeah. Snagwolf aberration is born to a human, looks like a human child when born, but has the exceptional ability to use alter reality, but only when under undue stress and the party needs to protect the child. Ooh, interesting. So gives it the ability to use a very powerful spell, but only under very, very specific circumstances. That can be cool as like a little hook. I definitely wouldn't put that as like a standard thing, but for like a little homebrew thing that you're going to put on a character, yeah, that can be really fun because it can't really be abused too easily because extremely specific circumstances. But at the same time, like it can be very, very useful when the time comes that it's needed. And yeah, that can be really good for like plot armor. So yeah, that's those things can be really fun because plot armor is something that can be cool. It really depends on your style of game, but I think a lot of people would enjoy plot armor to some extent. I mean, it's a trope in most anime, most film and movies and all that. So makes sense that you could give that, and that's pretty cool. So yeah, and aberration's a fun type. Like there's a lot of really cool things that aberrations get. I forget exactly what it is that makes aberration so good, but I know like aberration is good for some reason as a type. Um, I think they get some immunity or something typically. So yeah. Ah, but yeah, those can be some fun characters to make. Like I love illusions. Illusions are such illusionists can be so fun to play. So fun. And you can do them good with like, as the DM too, if you actually want to take the time to do it. It's hard to keep track of as the DM, but man, can you make good use of that if you actually do. I struggle with that personally, but I've seen some DMs really pull off illusions to really make the campaign a lot more interesting. So yeah, can be some really cool stuff. And yeah, illusions just fun in general. Yeah. But yeah, I'll probably doing. I'm probably gonna start doing shorts on feats going into 2023. So that'll be a cool thing that we can start doing. Um, yeah, hopefully, if you guys want to see that, I imagine a lot of people would because beats are just like a big deal, and I think shorts is like the perfect way to do them. So yeah, let's see what else to talk about. Chat's kind of gone slow for a second. Um, Food, nice. Sound so you're looking forward to feats. Yeah, I think if I do that, I'll probably just like try and do every feat in order. Just like go through the player's handbook, do like all the feats in the player's handbook, and then all the feats in the monster manual and all that. So many vids that way. Yeah, it's to be an absolute ton of vids, and they'd all be shorts. Like I'd do the whole vertical style, so they'd all show up on the shorts shelf, and just kind of do a short form TikTok kind of thing but on YouTube Shorts, yeah, just kind of a thing that I might do, and yeah, some of them will probably do better than others because like I don't know, some of them aren't that good, like skill focus, like okay, you know, that's one of the worst feats in the game. Okay, there's probably worse, but skill focus is pretty bad. So yeah, I appreciate it. Glad to know at least one person's going to watch them. So yeah, we'll see how that does, and maybe some people will see all those and come over to the longer form stuff on classes, races, prestige classes, all that good fun stuff. So yeah, that's a whole thing that's probably going to happen at some point. Uh, yeah, I'll probably start doing that here pretty quick. Um, yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of feats. I mean, just in the player's handbook alone, there's a lot of them. Skills, I might be able to do some on skills too, although those might actually be full videos because there's not that many skills and fairly detailed. So, yeah, I mean, not as much as a class, but a lot more than feet, sort of. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll do skills at some point too. Hard to say. I mean, I kind of do want to cover everything at some point, but that's like insane because there's a stupid amount of stuff in 3.5. Like, I've been at this for years and I've scratched the surface. Like I don't want to say I haven't scratched the surface because I think I have, but at the same time, I don't think I've done much more than scratch the surface. So yeah, there's just so much to this game. Uh, Ever imagine doing a general discussion long form video where you recount moments and scenarios or interesting things that occurred in your 3.5 campaigns? Mhm. I've thought about it. I mean, I have a few videos. I haven't done them in a long time, but partially because they're hard to organize, but well, a little hard. Where basically in my current 3.5 game, I've got the players that are in it, and I've got them all to like do a Discord call with me, and we just do literally that, where we literally just like talk about a section of the campaign. Basically, we played it at college, and so we were breaking it down by semester. So I did like, all right, this semester, that semester, and yeah, I've got like 3 videos, I think, on the channel. So that is sort of a thing that's already out there. But yeah, uh, I could potentially do some more of stuff like that. Those are like long videos too. They're like hour-long videos where we literally just sit down and discuss the campaign. It's pretty fun though. Like all sorts of like the top moments and the general synopsis and all that good stuff. Going over the feats would definitely be videos I watch repeatedly. I don't want to bug my friends too often to read their description it's because I'm blind. Fair, fair. That makes sense. I'm assuming you mean blind figuratively. Sure how you. Well, I guess there's lots of stuff that you can use to type, but yeah, maybe you're blind real. I don't know, but yeah, and if you are, dang, that's rough. Um, but yeah, that would be really rough. But yeah, if you would watch, but yeah, I suppose having videos that go over the feats would be really big for someone who's actually blind. Like, yeah, that's a good thought because yeah, if you are blind, dang, that's kind of rough that people use "I'm blind" as like a statement, like that's just a silly thing when it's actually some people have that for real. So yeah, I don't know. Anywho, yeah, that's actually a really good idea, even better than I thought. Because yeah, that actually does help a you know significant a percentage of the population that like would struggle without it. So yeah, that's a really good idea. Glad that glad that it's actually more helpful than I thought it would be. So yeah, that's a lot of feats, but yeah, I'll make a point to go over all of them. The craft skill alone could take more than one vid. Yeah, for skills, yeah, I actually have a video on the craft skill. I think it is a video just on the craft skill. It's a decently long video too, because whew, it is something more so than most other skills. Um, yeah, there's a few others that can be really involved as well, but craft is it's one of them for sure. Um, yeah, trying to think of other ones that would require a lot of explanation because I'm thinking of some that are used a lot, like diplomacy, but in all honesty, that's fairly simple to explain. If you figure out craft alchemy, yeah, I'll watch it. Craft alchemy, yeah, that one's a fun one. I haven't delved into craft alchemy much, but I've done most of the other crafts. I don't imagine craft alchemy is too different. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just completely missed it. But yeah, I think it's about the same as all the others. It's not too complicated. I mean, it's just you know, it's just you have to figure out the DC of the item, and yeah, trying to explain it on the fly. It's a lot harder to explain coherently on the fly than it is to like when I make the videos because I have like a few minutes to like figure out how I'm going to format things and say things. But yeah, crafting basically you have to figure out what the DC is, and then you need to roll more than that. You can also up the DC by 10 if you want voluntarily, which is good because you take the DC, multiply it by your result, and that's the progress you make in silver pieces per day, or maybe it's copper pieces per day, and then yeah, or silver pieces per week. Yeah, silver pieces per week or copper pieces per day, and that'll and you have to reach the normal base total price in order before it's done. And if you fail by more than 10, if you fail, then you make no progress, and if you fail by more than like 5 or 10, then you actually waste material. So yeah, it's hard to find info for me. Yeah, the craft skills. I mean, it's all on page 70, 71 of the player's handbook, but it's it's detailed. There's a lot of it's complicated. Like it's not a very simple thing. It involves taking numbers, multiplying them together, comparing them to another number, and like which is sort of based on the gold price, but it's the silver price, which is 10 times more. And oh, yeah, I can see why it'd be difficult. Like, I can very much see why it would be something that a lot of people struggle with. Because, yeah, crafting's a fun one. I get it, and I mean, other people get it too. But like, I can see why some people don't, and a lot of people don't. Like, I think more people don't get it than do get it. Yep, I'm blind permanent. Oh, sorry to hear that, Donovan. Since 2019. Oh, that's rough. Like that's so much worse when at least I'd imagine that'd be so much worse if it happens like later. Me and my friend play online. My phone has a voiceover function on it too. Let me know what I'm typing and reading. Nice. Well, that's cool. I'm glad there's accessibility stuff. And yeah, I totally, if yeah, especially if like this is going to help. somebody who's actually blind. Like, yeah, that makes me want to make these videos way more. But yeah, that sounds so rough, losing your sight at you know uh, like later in life. Because imagine you weren't born blind. 2019 was 3 years ago, so I imagine you're good amount older than that. So yeah, that's really rough. Because like I imagine it'd be way harder to adapt than to just like you know that's just your world normal. Like that's just your normal. But yeah, it to try and make that your new normal. That's just. I'm sorry, man. That's rough. But yeah, it definitely motivates me to make these feed shorts way more. So yeah, um, I'll definitely get on that. So let's see. Yeah, that's all. There's a lot of them though. So it'll definitely take me a while to get through them. Like even the player's handbook could take me like a few months, and that's being generous because there's a lot. So yeah, but that's definitely an idea for something to do going forward. Definitely glad I'm able to help. Um, yeah, and that my videos are helpful for you. I imagine because yeah, I don't think I can't imagine there's a lot of accessibility stuff for blind people on D&D 3.5. There's probably not much aside from my videos out there. Because I mean, there's audio with the videos, there's visual too, but um, that's the visuals are pretty bad on. It's getting better, but yeah, the audio is really where it's at on my videos, like 100%. So yeah, I can see why. I can see why. It makes sense. Sorry to hear that, man. But yeah, definitely something I'll be looking into is making some more videos on feats. Um, and maybe some on some skills. But yeah, Snagwolf, I do have a video on crafting if you want to check that out. Let's see if I can find. Yeah, I think it's crafting guide. It's a fairly recent one that I made not too long ago, like just a few months ago. It's pretty recent. It's around the time I started experimenting with editing. So yeah, I very unpolished editing style where I kind of sort of knew what I was doing, but not really. Was kind of figuring it out. I'm still kind of figuring it out, but it's a lot of things I've kind of sort of nailed down a little bit. I think I don't know. I'm learning, so it is what it is. Um, yeah, and like I mean, I'm still figuring stuff out. I was like half an hour late on this live stream due to the fact that it took me a while to figure out how to do it. I was running into technical issues that were driving me nuts. And then they just kind of worked themselves out. I don't know. YouTube's weird. But I figured it out, and the next one should be going a lot more smoothly. So that's good. So I should be actually starting on time. Because, yeah. Anywho. But yeah, definitely feats will probably be a thing that I'm going to start doing. I don't know. Depending on how fast I can knock them out, I might be, I don't know, maybe I can try and shoot to do one a day. We'll see. Um, that might be a thing. Hey, you made it to 1K. That's great. Yeah, I appreciate that, Snagwolf. Yeah, I made it to 1K about a month ago. Just a bunch of stuff came up, so it took me a while to get this live stream out. Also, Christmas and all that fun stuff. So yeah, and I don't really have any New Year's plans other than hanging out with you guys for the next hour and also the last hour. So yeah, that's mostly all I got planned for New Year's. So yeah. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can try and knock out some, daily feed videos. That might be a thing that I can do. So we'll see. We'll see how things go. I don't want to overcommit or anything because I have a bad habit of doing that. So yeah, like I've done that a lot with this channel, which is why I get burned out sometimes and you don't see videos for a while. Um, Although I've taken some steps to make that less bad. Like I have videos. I post date half my videos. I've got videos that'll be coming out for like the next year now. So yeah, although not many. I'm working on building that collection back up. But anywho, yeah, we can definitely start with doing some feed shorts. Donovan, LOL. I like to joke that when I went blind, the world kind of started crumbling due to the virus. Oh, yeah. I take my eyes off the world for 5 minutes. Nice. Glad you got a good sense of humor about it. But yeah, as you're missing you're missing seeing the world go to heck. So yeah, that's really where that's at. Looking forward to them. Nice. I'm glad that well, I'm glad because yeah, like having them do well is, something that as a content creator, it's pretty important to me, you know. But yeah, that's awesome that you got a good sense of humor about that. That yeah, here yeah, your site went right as the world kind of started crumbling from the virus. And I mean, things are getting better, but it could be a while before we start to see things go back to how they were, unfortunately, at least fully. There's definitely still things still aren't quite the same. And I don't know if they ever will be, to be honest, but they're mostly back to normal. But yeah, and that's been kind of good as a content creator. Well, good and bad because well, there's a lot more of an audience thanks to COVID, but you know now because of now, but at the same time, like everybody's wanting to be a content creator, so it's kind of a double edged sword. Like a lot